Call 312-6-million. Injury law made personal. That's Ankin Law.
Hello, gents. James, great stuff as usual with your reporting from White Sox spring training camp. A lot of attention, of course, on Munetaka Murakami. And based on the social media videos that we have seen and even you've shared as well in the Sox Machine VC group chat, he's putting on a show during batting practice. How does Murakami look in person?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's just batting practice. He's been hitting really well in lives. Like he took Chris Murphy deep today. Left. I don't think that's the first time I've seen him like hit the crap out of a ball left on left either. Yeah, I mean he's striking the ball regularly. I don't know how much value to really put on it. I've definitely seen him like whiff at a Zach Franklin heater as well. But in terms of like showing off what he's got, like he clearly. He clearly like touches the ball and it'll go farther than you generally think off contact based off contact quality pretty regularly, which is what you expect when, we're talking about somebody with top of the scale power. At least at this like early juncture of spring training where like it's not like he's facing sequences that are built to foil him or something. He's making contact. He's making loud contact pretty regularly and his load isn't like looking big or exaggerated. It also doesn't look like he's like done some like big change to his setup or anything with his hands. He doesn't look different than what he does on video. I guess something to like throw into spring looks of the value of seeing him in person is like watching him on video in Japan, especially like watching defense is like, all right, this is a big lumbering like power hitter. Certainly like with him during his press conference, like when he's wearing this big suit and everything like that, and he has like this cherubic face, like he looks like a big lumbering dude. He's in really good shape. He's pretty lean. I don't know if he's like this is just seeing him in action in person or if he's like really like got into game shape over the last couple of months, but like he's not he ain't heavy. He looks like it's still like a bigger, bulkier guy just in terms of frame than probably your average like third baseman. But the idea that he could go over there and like for a game or two when needed and be fine scans a little bit more watching him in person than maybe it did like watching video of him from MPB. So for what it's anything is worse when it's not even in the we before the Cactus League schedule has even started. Yeah, I think he looks pretty good. He looks pretty exciting for someone who's obviously being followed by about 2 dozen reporters at all moments and is already drawing this level of attention. He looks like he deserves it.
What's that been like for you? Because I mean, Will Venable talked about it when asked. It's like, yeah, a lot more attention. We now know how popular Mooney is back in Japan. What's it been like for you covering the team? Now it seems like the pool has doubled or tripled.
The idea of like jostling for space for like a Venable manager scrum after like a workout day, definitely feels a little foreign. I would say we're used to more me, Lamont, and Merkin talking about like, let's come up with some questions so the session isn't weirdly short. And now it's a bit more, to their credit, I would say like all the Japanese reporters kind of like wait till end of sessions for things because it's like a different dynamic of like we're covering the team and they're covering a guy, so to speak. And so they kind of I think they all demonstrate good feel of having done this before with like this um phenomenon of covering like kind of single players on teams and they kind of wait for the good moments to jump and don't dominate the scene. And I guess they don't have to do that. It's not like I'm demanding that, but I do appreciate that they do have that feel to do that. But it's definitely different. It's definitely like at the same time, it's a little reminiscent of like when Tim Anderson and Jose Abreu were a big deal, and like they got like a lot of people shouting for them when they're passing by the crowd. Now they're just, you know, might be shouting in a different language half the time. But they're American fans who are just thrilled to see Murakami, who are crowding up along the fences in a way that you haven't seen the last couple of years either.
Jim, you wrote about Baseball Prospectus because they had their Pacoda week and they released their projections. Again, continuing this theme, better than expected. Pacoda is projecting 69 wins for the White Sox after 1,000 simulations, and you can go check out that post on SoxMachine.com. Murakami's 50th percentile projection, so the most common, is 34 home runs, but I can't help it, Jim. I'm starting to buy into a little optimism. Is that what that's called? A little bit into the hype. What if Murakami is a 40 home run type of hitter for the White Sox? Does that radically change the calculus of the White Sox win-loss record in 2026?
I think you're no stranger to optimism, at least when it comes to the offense. You really want to see ball go far. You want to see ball in there. Anytime there's a hint of it, a whiff of it, you are ready to go.
I don't know if
you
it's
are starved
optimism,
for this.
Jim, or praying.
Yeah, I mean, either one. But
ball go far 5 times a game is what I'm hearing from you.
Yes. Yeah. Well, why not?
Five solo shot offense. No, I think with Murakami, like he's projected to be, at least in terms of Pacoda, the best position player on the team, maybe the best player on the team. I didn't compare pitchers versus position players, but he does come with like a weird set of projections, like 35 homers, but also like a 15% walk rate and like a 34% strikeout rate, which means like it's a Adam Dunn like 3 true outcome output. And so if he adds some homers to that, but it's also a case where, yeah, it's Joey Gallo. Like I think you've seen like the strengths and weaknesses of Joey Gallo, and that, to go back to the idea of the home run to RBI ratio, that's pretty or ugly. And that would be more of an ugly one, 40 homers, 90 RBIs, and, maybe an ability to pitch around him when it matters and limit him to solo shots when you have more of a margin for error, to where the feel of the 40 homers kind of muted for a team aspect. But I think, should it be a case where he doesn't have to sell out for power so much, whether it's the dead ball that he played with in Japan or perhaps just the lack of offense around him, and he feels like he's got to be more of a hitter in the States to combat the greater amount of stuff he's seeing. Or, maybe to get some help, Colson Montgomery, Kyle Teal from the left side, to where like he doesn't have to be the only source of offense against righties. He turns into more of a hitter mode. And so there is more of a well-rounded attack to where it's like 35 homers, but also a smattering of doubles and fewer strikeouts. Perhaps that plays up, especially for a team that doesn't need him to be great defensively at first base. It doesn't matter if he doesn't play much third, because they need a first baseman. They have the need for his power, his plate discipline, should that show up, to where, that kind of impact could be magnified, because he fits what the White Sox need so well, and what he doesn't do, the White Sox have enough of around him, to where he does give him a boost. And now you're looking at like a win total that's comfortably in the 70s. So, yeah, going back to when the White Sox signed him, and just that it was a no-brainer, whether it's because of marketing, the short term of the contract, or just providing the intrigue that such a signing brings, like you're seeing it right now in terms of just the double take going on. Like, oh, he looks better than we thought physically. He looks better than, like the contact looks real against American pitching. Hopefully this carries on to Cactus League play, to where there is a whole lot of hype reels that people can cut based on what he does to go in the regular season. But I think, all first impressions help, given that this is as much of a marketing-based signing as it is a production-based signing for what the White Sox need to get people interested and excited in their product.
I hyped it up already early in the podcast, but podcast listeners, if you do subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Sox Machine, James was at the Arizona Spring Training Media Day. And I love that story, James, that assistant general manager Josh Barfield shared on the White Sox pursuit of Murakami.
We spent a ton of time on just knowing that it was probably out of our reach, and then it quickly, that's probably one of the quickest processes I've ever been through. It was literally days from first talking to him, setting up a Zoom call at like 10 o'clock at night, and then 48 hours later, he's a White Sox. So I know it's been exciting for us. It's been exciting for the players, too. We've had many players comment on it, whether calls, texts, just how excited they were to have him part of the organization.
Like, I love that story, and just like how this potential power hitter in the middle of your lineup that's bringing so much positive attention to the Chicago White Sox team that really needs it. And this whole situation feels like it just fell into the White Sox lap. Like a stroke of good luck, finally, for the franchise.
Yeah, I think it's what I thought of at the time of the write-up after going to the press conference, but and still do, but feels like a dog caught a car a little bit. Um, but I do think like a couple months after, catching said car, it seems like the whole it was that level of shock, but now I think you can argue like a couple months later they've adjusted, like they're not just frozen, like not figuring out what to do with it, but are definitely like meeting full bore, trying to like make this guy feel acclimated and like comfortable, and going on bidets with it, like or beyond bidets with it, but like Murakami talking about like Chase My Drop, like learning Japanese words, and saying it to him. And I talked to Chase today, and he's just like, yeah, it's his team too. Or he just said like it's his team, like he needs to feel comfortable here. I realized more like in the moment I thought he's saying like, are you saying he's already like the franchise player? And like, but I think he was more saying like he should feel as welcome here as like everyone else does. Like he should feel like this is like his home. So like that's kind of like the effort I think both him and like the coaching staff are really bringing forth. And they've negotiated for him to like how he can stay longer and get into more games. They are like being like clearly like the team is built best for him to just take first base, but he clearly wants to still play third. He's going to play a little third in the WBC. And so they're like, well, we want to honor like what he's doing, what he's preparing for right now, and then allowing him to take reps there. The sight of just like they were taking BP and like Murakami's like round wasn't up. So like Justin Jersley waiting for like these little pauses in between the BP pitches to hit ground balls to third base to Murakami. Just like they're sparing like no resource to like or individual attention like on this dude. Like this is their baby that they're trying to like make work. So does it seem weird that they've moved like pictures from the division title out of the main hallway to put up like a photoshopped image of Murakami in a White Sox uniform up? Yeah, a little, but it's also like if you wanted like this team that was like an afterthought or a joke 2 years ago and landing like this big guy, like this is the effort you'd think that they should put out. Like I think everybody would rightfully pull their hair out if it seemed like they're half-assing it or not really like, they're viewing this as like the high risk, high reward signing is like, let's put everything we can. Like this is what we should do as like kind of a lower budget operations that we just need to put like all the elbow grease we possibly can to get out the maximum outcome of these long shots that we can acquire. So I feel like they're generally doing that in a way that looks commendable at this point. Like it's meaningless if 2 months from now he's 0 for the season already and everyone's freaking out. But right now it at least looks like a very genuine effort, and Murakami keeps giving positive reviews, even though they spelled his name wrong that one time, which he insists was funny. So I guess that's how he feels about it.
And it might not be meaningless if it does carry over to signing future players from Japan. Like if
That's a good point.
if they're catching up on how to handle this, like how to handle the attention, how to accommodate, in a WBC that puts special strain on it, but also like even like the stuff like the bidet, which is funny, but just in terms of like him getting asked about it and him talking about his regularity on and in front of microphones. But even then, just kind of the assimilation part of it, helping it, like this should only help serve future signings should the White Sox go back to the swell. And given that they are a team that should be looking at players who might be able to contribute above their pay grade, that's Asia, be it Japan or Korea, is often the place to find it.
I mean, they signed Austin Voth to an RI right after Murakami, so clearly the pipeline is in effect. MPV to the White Sox is going strong.
Thanks for watching the latest Sox Machine video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/SoxMachine. And if you ever need something to listen to, subscribe to the Sox Machine podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, such as Spotify and Apple Music.